Guys, I'm here to talk about the box office here, and I'm surprised the Taylor Swift movie is still in theaters. I'm surprised by that. I thought it was only be like 3 or 4 weeks. No, they still have it in theaters. I'm surprised. Okay, but we have a batch of new releases coming out. Three major releases that will probably have good holdovers next weekend. Yes, even the Hunger Games will probably have good holdovers next weekend. People are saying that it's gonna flop. It's gonna flop. It's gonna flop. No, I thought Black Panther was gonna flop. I thought that movie would hold over to Thanksgiving. I really thought the movie would have a massive drop off on its forward weekend. Okay, but actually had a small drop because of Thanksgiving. Okay, you never underestimate the holiday weekends when it comes to movies. Same thing with Top Gun. Top Gun held really well on the 4th of July, despite the movie being out for a month. Okay, but yeah, the number one movie of the week is The Hunger Birds, The Ballads, The Songs, The Snakes, and yeah, they finally have the international numbers for this movie. Okay, the movie made $98 million. The difference between this and the Marvels is this movie has a small budget of $100 million. There's still a larger than a lot of movies, but considering the fact that every other movie of this year, like the Marvels released last week, or Killers of the Flower Moon movie. That should not cost $200 million to make. This will only cost $50 to $60 million to make. Okay, no, or at least $100 million if Martin Scorsese wanted to be fancy at the movie. That movie cost made money. Okay, the problem with Hollywood is they keep spending so much money on these movies. Okay, but the Hunger Games, they finally said, you know what, $98 million globally on its first weekend, which is almost the same as its budget. Is it? Okay, $98 million. The movie made globally. Okay, the movie needs to make $250 million to break even. If it has a decent hold on Thanksgiving, the movie should be able to break even and make profits, which means the movie won't flop. Okay, it's funny, all of these fandom fans are going to say the movie's a flop or failure before the second weekend. Okay, before the massive Thanksgiving, before Thanksgiving is even out. Okay. Oh yeah, movie's already dead on arrival. Okay, yeah, it's the worst movie in the series, but it should still do well over Thanksgiving versus next week. Okay, Thanksgiving is still a massive weekend. Okay. Same thing with the next movie, Trolls, which also is at a very negative box office growth. The movie has been out in international markets for a while. It hasn't yet to release in Australia, Japan, New Zealand, and I think that's it. The movie should have pretty good ratings considering that it has yet to release in Australia and Japan. Okay, it finally released in the U.S. I don't know what took them so long to release the movie in the U.S. They wanted the Thanksgiving money, but this movie, it had pretty decent ratings internationally. I think it will continue doing well internationally over the next couple of weeks as well. But the movie is already having pretty okay ratings from the weekend to the weekend days as number 2. It will probably never hit number 1 because Disney's releasing this, but it should have good ratings. And Disney, so of course, should be concerned about this. And I knew Disney sort of released the Marvels. They sort of released Marvels in like October when there are no movies, basically. Okay, they probably would have delayed it anyways because the Taylor Swift movie would have released. But Marvels, okay, that movie's gonna struggle anyways because it was sandwiched between 3 movies essentially. Okay, FNAF, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, Trolls, and Hunger Games. Okay, Trolls will probably do well over the next weekend. I wouldn't be too surprised if it has a very small drop similar to the Hunger Games. Hunger Games will probably have like a 30 to 40% drop, which is good for a blockbuster. Usually blockbusters have like a 50 to 60% drop, but yeah, next is the Marvels. No one cares about this movie. No one cares about Brie Larson. Okay, 160. This movie had a very large drop off everywhere globally. Okay, No one is watching this movie. No surprise. It's released in every market, so there isn't no international markets this movie can scrounge up. And at this point, alongside The Killers of the Flower Moon and Dial of Destiny, makes it one of the big flops of the year. Okay, Dial of Destiny was one of the biggest losers of the year. What's Dial of Destiny? Uh, Yo, Dial of Destiny lost 354 million for Disney. That was a lot of money lost. Okay, Killers of the Flower Moon lost 373 million, and the Marvels lost 381 million. At this current moment, of course, I would definitely make more money, but it's not going to make any money. It's going to be one of the biggest box office failures of the year. We also have Trolls, Thanksgiving, and Hunger Games: Ballad of Songs of Snakes. I think it's either Ballad of Songs and Snakes, Songbirds and Snakes. I have zero interest in seeing this movie. Okay, first of all, I didn't really care about the first Hunger Games movies. I'm just being honest here. Okay, like Hunger Games was a movie that I watched the first one twice. Okay, I watched the first one twice. Okay, but I don't really ever revisit movies a lot of times, but Hunger Games is gonna be a movie that I'll never ever revisit. Okay, never ever revisit. Okay, Hunger Games is a movie that I'll never wanna really revisit because it's not really a movie that I would say, oh yeah, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. Okay, same thing with the sequels. Okay, but yes, I do have a list on IMDb of my favorite movies. I don't update that anymore. But I would probably remove Hunger Games. It's a movie that every time I think about it, it just ages worse and worse and worse. Okay, it's definitely not my favorite movie in the world. Okay, but let's compare the Marvels to the Flash. Okay, or Dark Phoenix. The movie made more money in the U.S. than Dark Phoenix, but the movie is doing just as badly globally as Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix was another movie that no one liked, and the Marvels. If we're using the $234 million budget, this movie's gonna lose even more money than Dial of Destiny. Okay, but we're using the numbers included the tax breaks from the UK, cause that's the real numbers they use for this movie. Okay, that's the real numbers if we include the tax breaks from the UK. But this movie is a massive failure either way. Okay, either way. Okay, so we're gonna change it. We're actually gonna change. So we use the original budget for the Marvels. The movie is at a negative loss of $524 million. Yeah, that's the biggest flop in history by a wide margin. Okay, Strange Road and John Carter, which are two of the biggest flops in history, have nothing on the Marvels. Massive failure. Okay, I don't think we have John Carter here. Yeah, we do. John Carter watched 347 million. Strange World watched like 380 million or something. Thing here, because yeah, we checked all the movies since then. And it seems that the last 2 years, we've been breaking records for failures. Strange World, 384 million watched. Oh, the Marvels. That's easy. Negative 524 million. But we're using the tax breaks as well. It's gonna 381 million. But the Marvels could lose anywhere from 381 million to 524 million dollars. Let's not even forget that even the 3 times projections some people even use for these movies, which means the movie will even lose even more money. So that means the Marvels might be the biggest box office flop in history, if you think about it. And one of the most often compared to movies is The Flash. But even The Flash is laughing at Brie Larson. That this movie, The Flash, which is another big box office failure, still made more money than the Marvels, which is the funniest thing in the world. Okay, everybody will say it on The Flash. Well, it seems that Brie Larson can only make things worse, as her movie lost so much money that even The Flash looks like a box office success in comparison. Okay, at least The Flash didn't lose $500 million for Warner Brothers. It does. And likely the Marvels will probably pass $200 million globally, but it'll probably get bite out by a smids. or probably not even past $200 million. If it even past $200 million globally, that's awful. That's bad numbers for Disney. Okay, very bad numbers. It's doing worse than Dark Phoenix on its second week. That's how badly the Marvels is doing. Okay, if the Marvels is not an MCU movie, it would have did awful, even worse. So probably did just as bad as even worse than Dark Phoenix. Okay, because every time Dark Phoenix came out, people still watch superhero movies are still the big thing. Okay, even like Shazam: Fury of the Gods is doing the same as Brie Larson's Captain Marvel sequel. That's awful. These numbers are awful. All four of these movies did really bad at box office as well. Okay, but the Marvels is probably doing the worst because it's gonna lose the most amount of money. Okay. Next, we have Thanksgiving. I don't think we have any international. Oh yeah, we do have 2 million international. That's not too good, but this movie has a small budget. It should be able to make back its money. It should be able to have decent or so legs because of the holiday coming up. I think this movie might actually increase and have really great legs. Okay, this is gonna be like a Puss in Boots situation where the movie did really bad its first outing because of its competition. But I think if Word of Mouth really does well for this movie could definitely make back its money and break even. Now we gotta talk about the FNAF movie. Yes, the FNAF movie also has pretty bad legs, 76% drop. It's not good, but the movie broke even in its first weekend. That's the difference between this and the Marvels, is that most of the people who want to see this movie went to go see this movie. I doubt the word of mouth for this movie wasn't very good. It was mostly the fans that went to go see this movie. As well, they're also probably making two sequels to this. So yes, we're getting two more Five Nights at Freddy's movies because this movie made a large chunk of money. And guess what? The movie didn't cost $200 million to make. Okay, one of your lessons from the FNAF movie, Disney, and not spend $500 million on a movie that you know nobody wants to see. Okay, this movie also made more money than the Flash and the Marvels, which is the most funniest thing in the world because this movie has really bad ratings. It's still gonna make more money than the Marvels domestically and internationally, both. Okay, I think internationally the Marvels might be catching up. Okay, the Marvels made $67 million. Oh yeah, that's not catch up. It might catch up internationally, but again, you gotta realize that as more movies come out, the Marvels is gonna do worse and worse. Okay. Next is the holdovers. This movie is really holding over. Yeah, the pun was very attended. But again, it's another one of those movies where the more years it goes in, the less people want to see it. Yeah, people have no interest in seeing the holdovers. Okay, but it held over pretty well. It's also a Christmas movie as well. So maybe it will do well over Christmas. But they released the movie too early. Sorry, Focus Pictures. So we released this movie around Christmas. Next is Next Goal Wins. Never heard this movie before. Moving on. The Taylor Swift movie continues to make money, and The Feeders making $224 million. Another movie that was mostly the die-hard fans went to go see at the very beginning, and then they just fizzled out over time. Still made $135 million. I think this movie will be out of theaters next weekend. Or they might keep it in because of Thanksgiving. Wouldn't be surprised if they keep it in for Thanksgiving. I think that's like the whole goal that Taylor Swift wants to do. She may want to make more money on Thanksgiving. She might want to keep the movie in on Thanksgiving. On Thursday, Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, because that's also a very busy day. And we also have Priscilla, another movie that no one cares to see. Okay. And we have the big flop of the year, Killers of the Flower Moon, a movie that no one wants to see. And the Killers of the Flower Moon's negative total has decreased to $365 million. That's not too good. Not too good. Not too good at all. I think the Taylor Swift movie passed $245 million globally. Yeah, and then we also have some other movies like Johnny Bethlehem. Oh, sorry. Yeah, but other than that, no, these movies. This was a pretty okay week. This is the week before Thanksgiving. Usually, they release movies because they know even if the movies don't have a good opening, they know, hey, Thanksgiving that week's coming. Okay, was it gonna go to past years? Okay, so index. Uh, let's just even go to back to last year. Okay. Weekend. Okay, they released. They didn't really release anything major, but Black Panther: Wakanda Forever had a pretty bad drop. Everybody was making fun of, oh, Black Panther won't do. It's gonna do really bad next weekend. Still it had a pretty good hold. Again, not really anything major came out. Okay, difference between this and last Thanksgiving, you actually have bigger movies. You have a Trolls movie, you have a Hunger Games movie. Both movies that usually come out around that time. That's the funny thing. Both IPs usually make movies around the time, around Thanksgiving. Same thing with the MCU, but nobody cares about Brie Larson. It's Marvels. Okay. Use a pre-pandemic. Okay, we use the pre-pandemic example. Bull. Yeah, Vor v Ferrari came out. Charlie's Angels and Midway. Frozen 2 came out. I think this was before the Thanksgiving. And then Thanksgiving and Frozen 2. I think Thanksgiving was the main reason why Frozen 2 did pretty well. But we could even go to like the week as well. As well, you can see how well the movies held over for Thanksgiving weekend. Movies like Knives Out having a massive expansion in sales as well. There's a movie called Playing with Fire. No, it's not based off the Blackpink song. No, it isn't. I don't think it is. And we can even go to 2018. Okay. Here we have Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, The Grinch, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Bohemian Rhapsody, still holding on, Creed 2, and all these movies, Instant Family and Widows. Well, Thanksgiving came around. Ralph Breaks the Internet did pretty well throughout the Thanksgiving week. Creed 2 did pretty well. Fantastic Beasts had a pretty big drop off, but stuff like a lot of these movies held pretty well over that week. Okay. Thanksgiving is usually a week where they hold. Of course, Hunger Games could still decline from weekend to weekend, but it was still week to week, obviously. But I think it'll do pretty well, given the fact that it's Thanksgiving. It's still Thanksgiving week, and might actually have some legs over Thanksgiving week. Same thing with Trolls as well, and the Thanksgiving movie. And that's about this video here. And yeah, goodbye.